Hey guys, Flom here with another episode of Scoped Up for you guys. Today we're going to be looking at Train. Train, it's an opera's playground. There's a lot of stuff that you can do at the start of the rounds that are super impactful, but overall, this map should be your paradise and one of your favorite maps. Just like always, guys, we're going to be starting on the CT side. Today looking at 3 different picks. We're going to be looking at the early Ivy or alley pick, however you want to call it, an early mid kind of position that you can hold, and last but not least, we're going to be talking about peeking inner. The alley pick is pretty spawn dependent. You're going to want to definitely make sure you have one of the front spawns. When going for this pick, guys, you really want to think about how they've been taking Ivy. Have they been, we've talked about this in previous episodes where people get into the same routine. If you see them getting a routine, getting comfortable, this is a great way to create a disruption in that. So at the start of the round, guys, you're going to run up the stairs here. You don't need too many nades, but a smoke and a flash is definitely preferred. It allows you to bail out. All you do is you come up and you play behind the server box and you post on the top part of the dumpster. At the start, I typically like to hold the top part of the dumpster for another opera getting ready to peek you. You will catch them at an off angle and it's really hard to deal with. The only thing you need to be aware of is sometimes people will peek on the ground pretty carelessly. Now this should be a relatively easy pick for you still, but it is going to require you to flick down and try to hit a shot, so it can be a little tricky sometimes. So just be aware of that. Things that can go wrong in this position is when you're holding this top part of this dumpster is obviously everybody misses, you may miss the shot. It may seem like you're in a really exposed position, but this actually is really tough for the enemy team to deal with, and why it's still a pretty safe peek to go for, even if you get into trouble and you miss your shot. If you do end up missing your shot, or just say something happens in the middle of the round where you don't really want to be in this position anymore, just tuck behind the server, maybe throw a smoke down, and then just wait for a little bit. They're going to obviously spam the smoke, maybe toss a flash up high, have a teammate helping you, and you just get out that way. Now, this isn't necessarily like a set play. This is just something where it's a really strong position to hold that usually gets you a kill at the start of the round. But regardless, it'll give your team a lot of information, and it's a relatively safe peek to go for once again. The spawn doesn't matter too much, guys. Obviously, front spawn is better. Once you come out Z, usually you want to throw maybe a molly for a rush outside, just holding so that they can't cross 5 lane. I personally get on the red train and use the ladder to cross. This way, it just makes it a little bit more awkward for an opera to hit you if he is posted there. Once I get to sandwich, I like to come here and I like to peek this close angle. You will have the advantage if another opera is holding here, just due to peeker's advantage and how the angle itself works with where he has to position himself. When you start creeping up, this becomes a really difficult angle for the other opera to deal with, because if he is in this position, there's multiple angles he needs to be looking at. After getting in this position, if you want to change it up even a little bit further, you can jump on your left and actually hold this elevated position, making it even more difficult for the enemy opera to hit you. If you don't see anybody in here, that's still extremely valuable information for your team, and it allows your team to either get in team middle and take control of it, or maybe you can rotate another player to another part of the map where they're putting presence and you know that they're not in team mid. If the enemy team decides to do a fast outside strat and you get caught in sandwich, I don't really think there's going to be too much for you to get out with unless you end up smoking off one of the sides. But in reality, if your teammates are aggressive with you, you can try to make this work, and usually there's a lot of nades that are supporting you. So just communicate with your team and realize the situation that you're in and just try to make the best out of it. So if you're going to peek upper, you want to make sure you have the spawn. The spawn is extremely important for timing if they decide to rush it. If you don't have the best spawning, you go up there and they had good spawns and they hit a rush, you're going to be caught out in a really bad position. So make sure you have a spawn. And this is once again one of these positions that you need to communicate with your team. Hey, I'm going aggressive upper B, and I need your support if I get into trouble. There's nothing unique about this path. All you do is you just run upper, you get on the spools, and you come to the corner and peek it. However, when I'm going for this pick, I don't like to go past a certain point. Now, when I'm coming up here and I peek, I like to just peek this angle and then work my way to this box. I do not like to progress past this point, and the reason for that being is if there's any opper on the upper position in the halls holding for you, he will 9 times out of 10 get you without the support of a teammate. And what I mean by that is I would never progress past this point without a teammate's flash. Now, a lot of you guys watching this probably might solo queue a lot, and this is where I think you should probably just hang out. If you're in a team environment and your teammate knows the good flash for the upper halls, it is completely safe for you to go for this peak. When you go for this pick, you have to be very aware of the fact that a lot of teams will pre-fire you, and you need to be ready immediately to take a fight. When you come here, you'll be able to hear the enemy footsteps extremely early, and all you need to do is slow walk up and post up on the upper angle. If you get 1 kill, this is an angle that you almost never want to re-peek unless you are extremely confident and have a teammate with you that's supporting you. After you get that pick, what I like to do is I like to throw a molly down behind me if I think they're rushing, and then I will come back and I'll try to fall back, either back bomb or back pop. I know a lot of you guys have seen me go for this pick a lot and see me have a lot of success with it, so I figured I'd show you guys the pop dog / ladder, however you want to call it, spam. It's really easy to do. All you do is you come to the B sign arrow, you stand in the middle of it, you go 2 chain links up and then 2 chain links left, and then you just fire right through. In today's episode, the first pick we'll be looking at is the walk inner pick, followed by the T-mid E-box peek, and then last but not least, an early ladder / pop dog peek. Now, the walk inner peek is something that I usually like to do after I have a read on their inner player. A lot of people like to jiggle peek the bottom ramp of inner for information and then fall back after they see the enemy. I like to take a specific route just to make sure that I don't get seen by an opper, and just so nobody hears me and nobody knows where my op is at the start of the round. You just come up into inner and you go up the stairs, and I like to come to the left instead of running down the hall. And then once I get into the bathroom area, right around this doorway above ladder, I like to walk. And while I'm walking, I like to come down here, and I like to just have my teammates with me, and I'll get close to this corner and I'll get ready to peek, and then I just go for the quick pick onto the lower guy and try to snag the kill. If you do get him at lower, I like to come down and pick Z for my teammates as they flood the bomb site. Not only did you just get 1 kill, now you're completely cutting off the rotate for your team and making it extremely difficult for the CT team to retake fast. If another opper is taking the upper inner spawn like we discussed on CT side, and he peeks while you're going for this pick, it's really hard to deal with him. You have 2 choices to make. You can either scope in early if you think the opper is there and try to fight him, or you can have your rifles walk out before you. That way you can either trade, and if he's not there, that way you're not giving up the valuable information that you have a scope about to peek lower. This peek is, once again, just like we've been talking about throughout this whole series, is based off of reads that you've made throughout the match. If you think the other player is going to cross for E-box, which is very likely, especially at high level games, because of how important getting ladder / pop dog control is, this is a great way of trying to shut that down early, giving your team an advantage and allowing your team to get inside ladder and or pop dog. Now, this pick is also spawn dependent, and you're obviously going to want to have a very good mid spawn so that way you can catch him in the crossing to E-box. Once I get to T-mid, I like to jump across to get past the other opper and hold for the E-box cross for the rifle. This way, I'm avoiding any sort of opper play from Z, and I'm getting a 1-on-1 with a rifle, or maybe a 2-on-1. If a team is dumping a lot of utility and they molly this, you just need to bail immediately. Do not sit around there. You're just going to take a lot of unnecessary damage. Bail out and try to find somewhere else to make an impact in the round. This pop dog peek is spawn dependent, it's info dependent, and you need to just be confident in what you're doing. So when you have the best spawn, all you do is you just come in through inner. This way you want to just follow this hallway, jump right down the ladder, usually have a teammate call for you E-box, and you come out and you peek behind 6 into Ivy. Now, you are exposing yourself to a lot of different positions when you go for this. This is why it is a very risky peek. But if a team is not paying attention to pop dog overall, this is a great way to get a kill, catch somebody off guard, maybe catch an opper back 6, somebody carelessly running out of Ivy. This is a peek that you want to go for when the enemy team is just becoming complacent and you need to punish their complacency and not respecting ladder. All right, guys, that concludes this episode of Scoped Up on Train. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.